Well, welcome everybody. We are grateful to have you join us on this Tuesday evening. We are going to let people in as they arrive and get the presentation underway. We are going to start with our agenda for the night.
My cue.
Yeah, that is your cue. Yes. So if you don't recognize it, this is a gorgeous picture of Machu Picchu, which our spring semester students get to visit and whilst on semester. Tonight, we're going to start with introductions of myself and Jennifer. We're going to go through financial information for the traveling school, talk a bit deeper about the scholarships that we offer and fundraising and personal savings plans. We're going to get creative about how to pay for a semester of the traveling school, and then discuss other options that come up that we've had students participate in the past, or that you might have ideas around, and kind of think outside the box together, and then we'll open it up for any questions that you might have in closing. In the meantime, please feel free to jump in and ask questions as we go through the presentation. So with that, my name is Hayne Beattie-Gray, and I am in Western North Carolina, just outside of Asheville. I'm the admissions manager for the traveling school. With that in mind, I will help handhold from initial inquiry and interest into the application process and the financial aid process, if that's a path that you need to make happen, and then through offers of admission and getting you ready to get on the ground in your semester.
Yay. And I'm Jennifer Royall, and I'm the executive director of the traveling school. And I'm based in Bozeman, Montana. That's where our home office is, and have been involved in the traveling school over the years in lots of different roles, but first as a teacher 20 years ago. I'll say that a few times today because I can't believe it. And as well on the board and in other administrative positions, but I definitely am involved absolutely with student tuition and finances, and on the program team as well. So the traveling school, and we are going to talk a little bit just generally about the traveling school also before we get into the finances and affordability, because we know that we're at the very beginning of our application process. Our early admissions, priority admissions for the is actually December 1st, but the other admissions date is February 15th. So we're just kind of getting into our fall 2024, spring 2025 semester admissions process. But the traveling school is a school for young women and non-binary students. Our students' ages range from 15 to 18 years old. Some of the things that we think are really awesome about the traveling school is that we're tech-free, and that's pretty powerful for our students. We engage in the place where we travel, and our curriculum is based around that. And those places have been lots of different places over the years, but currently this next semester will be in Southern Africa for the fall of 24, and in the spring of 25, South America. We've also developed a Western US program, and while we continue to get back on our feet overseas, we put that on hold, but we hope to continue to have that for an offering in the future.
So our mission at the traveling school is to amplify student voices through transformative education to ignite positive change. And what that means in real time on the ground is that we turn the educational model on its ear. We know that place-based experiential learning is impactful in a myriad of long-lasting ways. It sparks curiosity, re-engages learning. Oftentimes when students get to high school, they are disenchanted by the education system. And so we believe that by living in a global world, we're often bound by the worldviews of our geographic and cultural silos. And when we travel abroad, it allows students to experience different cultures firsthand and fosters tolerance, empathy, and open-mindedness. Now more than ever, we could use a lot more of that. This is why we do it. It's so worth it.
That's why I've been doing it for 20 years. So just to kind of support what Hayne was just saying, you know, we have 4 pillars or core tenets that that we've had ever since the beginning, really, truly. Our focus is on experiential academics. So we're engaging in a place and learning about the place. And we create our own textbooks, and we have plenty of books and, you know, paper and those pieces, but we really learn about the place from the people in that place. We engage in the community. We go outside and engage in whatever there is to do. The students just recently were horseback riding in the Drakensberg Mountains near the Royal Natal National Park. And they'll be, you know, doing any number of things on both semesters that are so exciting and fun. And that's a lot of times what you hear about, but that's only one piece of it. And then all these other tenets, all these other pillars really funnel into this idea of transformational leadership. So creating students who find their voices, who find confidence, and who bring that confident voice home to make change in the world, in their communities, in their high schools, and their life after high school.
Awesome. So we travel to 2 separate continents depending on the semester. And in the fall semester, we take students, our cohort goes to Southern Africa, and countries that we visit are Zambia, Botswana, Namibia, and South Africa. And in the spring semester, we travel to Ecuador, Peru, and Bolivia. And where we've traveled over the past 20 years has varied, which is really helpful. It allows us to be nimble in our cultural focus based on real-time relevance and what is happening in those countries, what is happening globally. So we've really drilled down in those 2 specific areas. And in the American West during our COVID time, and which, as Jennifer said, is on pause right now. But while our education is place-based, the country and the countries dictate what we're doing any given semester.
Yeah, and I really love what you said about nimbleness. And so I think the piece that's really important about our course area in the places that we've traveled all over Southern Africa and Central and South America is that risk management wise, we're also able to not go to an area if it's not the right idea, if it's not a good idea. So I think that that's a big piece of it as well. Yeah, so the traveling school's been around for a bit, and we only have we have 2 incredible semesters per year. So over the course of 20 years, we have just over 460 alum. We are part of a variety of really amazing orgs. So we're part of the semester school network. There are other semester schools like the traveling school. Well, there's no semester school exactly like the traveling school, but there are some other semester schools. We are accredited through the Western Association. of school. Oh boy, what is yeah, schools and colleges. Sorry. And we're a founding member of the International Coalition of Girls Schools. And just recently we joined the National Association of Independent Schools. And all of that is to say that we have a lot of great resources and humans to help support what we do, and to help us get better at what we do, continue to strive to get better and better. We've been working, out there as a semester school, like I said, for over 20 years. So we've worked with hundreds of high schools. We've done a lot of work with Bozeman High. And it's really important that our students speak with their counselors in their high schools ahead of time to make sure that they will get to transfer credit, and that their semester counts towards their high school years. So is there anything else? There's plenty there, but yeah, and so this piece is important. Being a part of being a semester school, and the traveling school isn't different in this way. It's expensive, and we know it. And we know there's a sticker shock for many when they see what it costs. And I think that what's important for our prospective students and families to know is that the traveling school is a high value academic experience. It's on par with a college exchange program, but in high school, which I feel like is such an incredible time to get students out in the world before they go to the college, and to learn this independence and responsibility that they won't necessarily find at home, in their home high school. So there are no other programs like the traveling school. There is no other semester school that travels the way we do, for 3.5 months, and engages in a place, creates their own curriculum around that place. And so that's part of the power of what we do. Our student to teacher ratio is quite small. So we have 4 teachers to 16 students, which is powerful because they're magical. Our teachers, they really are just such incredible role models for our students. And then as well, that rigorous, engaging academics really helps students realize what they want to do. It makes them an architect of their own educational future, as opposed to just jumping through the hoops of regular high school. So I see our students come home transformed in so many ways, and that is something that I hear from our alum over and over again. So I think that's really important piece of what we do. We know that it's expensive, and we really try to work with families to make sure that if they want to be a part of the traveling school, that we can help problem solve and help figure out a way to make it happen. We're small, and we are a community. So our students and their families become part of our family. So I don't want that price tag to make you hesitate. If it's something that your student wants, if it's something that you want, I've seen it happen. I've been involved in a lot of these stories of these students who chose to go and made it happen. And it's really powerful, just that actual process of making that dream come true for yourself. So the tuition for this spring, we have a limited amount of seats still available on the spring semester, is here. And then we are raising our tuition for next year, the 24-25. Our enrollment deposit is returned at the end of the semester. If it's just kind of there to support the students if something goes awry with those credit cards or ATM cards overseas. And then there's a little spending money that we recommend, which seems to be plenty. It's about $25 a week for students for their odds and ends and trinkets that they bring home. And then there are additional expenses. There's an international flight. The traveling school pays for all of the transportation overseas, but since people are coming from all over, the international flight is separate, and then any of the pieces of vaccinations, passport, gear are things that are additional depending upon the family needs.
Great. So dovetailing on what Jennifer said, we're going to now kind of dive deep into affording a semester. And we're going to talk about a few ways to help you afford it and go through them one by one. So we offer need-based scholarships, and we use the FACTS platform, which many independent schools use to verify income and ability to pay. Those scholarships go direct to tuition support. Then we have scaffolding for fundraising and savings plans. This is a great way for your student to take some ownership over the experience, and we'll talk more about how profound that process is for your student. We also offer payment plans, and that means that if your student applies early and in February and gets their award and acceptance notification in mid-March, then you could begin paying in July on a monthly basis spread out over the entire next school year. So we want to get creative with ways to lessen the month-to-month burden if that's helpful for your family. We also accept 529 plans. Some 529 plans allow for payouts to high school experiences. We can work with you on that. And then we also want to talk about gear that's needed for programs, because it's not just getting over there. We feel like we have a pretty low threshold or low expenses for gear, but there is some that's needed on the ground, so we can help you figure out ways to make that affordable as well. Also, on our webpage, we have a header called Affording a Semester, and that's got lots of information in it. Also, feel free to ask us, but we'll head through the nuts and bolts of affording the semester now. Jennifer, you're on mute. You're muted.
I'm not now. Would you put that website in the chat, please?
Yes.
Thank you. So over the past 20 years, we've given over $1,300,000 and some odd dollars in scholarships, and our 40, depending upon the semester, 40 to 60% of our student body receives need-based scholarships. And again, there is information about what the process looks like on that affordability page of our website. So what else? Our scholarships range anywhere from $2,000 up to full tuition. We've given away a few full tuitions. We typically try to provide as close to what people need as possible, but we find that people need a little bit of bump, and so we don't typically give away as our typical average grant is around just under $11,000. So that kind of gives you a sense for what that looks like. That's over the past 3 years. The FACTS is a lot like, FAFSA. It's application. You submit a bunch of your tax returns and your W-2s. And there's also an application. We ask you some questions, and then they take a look at that information, put it into a spreadsheet, and then we follow up with questions with our families to get a little bit more details from you about what it is, what your finances are looking like for you. We appreciate you applying for FACTS, getting those applications done as early as the student applications come in. So they're due to February 15th, like the student applications. And the reason for that is the goal for us is to give admissions information along with scholarship offer as well at the same time. And back in the day, we would admit students, but we were waiting for everyone to apply and for it all to get verified with FACTS. And it takes a little bit of time and sometimes some back and forth. So it takes a couple of weeks if you get all your paperwork in, and then that'll keep us on track to meet with our scholarship committee to discuss awards. And typically the awards are, we give away more early because that's when we have the majority of our applicants. And if we have any money left at the end, that's great. But, you know, we give away the majority of our awards early on. Yeah, that's good.
Okay, so personal savings plans and fundraising. We all of our student applicants applying for need-based scholarships complete a personal savings plan that demonstrates their intention, their dedication, and participation in preparing for the financial investment of a semester. So those are good conversations to have early and often with your student. Students drive and take some ownership of the process, and so many of our students do some type of fundraising that can look different for everyone. For example, we've had students busk on the street. Well, in a lot of the country right now, the weather's inhospitable to stringed instruments outside. So maybe that looks like a holiday party. If you know a local shop that's having holiday drop-ins and whatnot, we'll get into the nuts and bolts of individual opportunities shortly, but each student comes from a different background with different access and to fundraising opportunities. But if you don't have ideas on your own, we want to help you come up with some. And while the contributions of a teenager can feel like a drop in the bucket, it's a really powerful part of the experience. So we want to work alongside you for that. This is an example of our personal savings plan template. This is what the student will fill out. And again, as Jennifer said, we want that by February 15th because we want to be able to offer admissions with the aid package so that you can make an informed decision with what is being offered.
And this, am I muted again? No, this personal savings plan has 3 sections. One is, and it used to be like, how are you going to fundraise? But what we realize is we can't forget that these are teenagers and their number one job is going to school. And we know that. But there's lots of ways that students can help their parents make this happen for themselves, right? This semester, this experience. So they can save money. So that's the first section. And it talks about each section is some examples like, okay, I just won't buy this, you know, or I'll save my money here. There's earning money, like, because a lot of our students have jobs. And then there's fundraising or asking for money. So there's lots of ways, and every student's different in in terms of who their community is, what, like you said, Hayne, what their skills are and their passions, and also just what their capacity is for trying to make this work, trying to have, you know, to participate in the finances of making the traveling school semester happen. And while we don't expect students to be professional fundraisers, some of our students' parents may be professional fundraisers, and we found that is very helpful. Absolutely. We do also have an investing in your future toolkit, and it's full of ideas. And part of it is like helping students realize that the important part about asking for money is being able to express why someone might give it to them. So what are they going to take away from this program? What is the why about why they want to go? So setting goals, creating a plan, thinking of who to ask, different techniques. So we have tons of examples. It was really fun to make, and it's based on plenty of examples of students who've raised money over the years. Many of them who were my nieces, but it's fun. So they learn about letter writing, or they think about ways that they might sell a product in their town, or they think about ways that they potentially could do some kind of athletic endeavor, to say a hike-a-thon or a ski-a-thon, or make some kind of dinner that's regional, that they could invite people to and tell them about their upcoming traveling school semester. So lots of fun things. I personally enjoy brainstorming with students. I think it's really important to think about also who we're asking, who we're looking towards. There's local scholarships students can apply for. There are high school reimbursement programs across the country, especially in rural areas. I always think that women's businesses, women's organizations are a great place to go, even sororities. There's so many ideas in this book. So you can see one of our students had a South American feast here, and sometimes students ask local restaurants if they'll help them with the proceeds from one night of an evening, or any kind of business. Some students have created gift card or cards that they've sold. The student in the very far left now baked pies and sold pies. Oh my gosh. So she made $9,000 selling pies. I just have to say, that's pretty impressive. Hayne, I know your daughter's been a little fundraiser as well.
Yeah, and she was big into busking. I mean, people would have oyster roast or what have you, and she would ask if she could come play and put her fiddle case out in front. Or also looking at, like you mentioned, your community there, the AAUW, American Association of University Women, like they're in every town, and they're always looking for ways to support academic and STEM related pursuits of young women. And so I think there's lots of ideas, and we can help with that.
Yeah. The other thing that traveling school can do is we can share with our community any of these activities that students are doing to fundraise. So we can put it on social media. We have alum all over the country, and we can share in those regions if there's an activity in a town nearby where other students live, or if there's something that could be sold or fundraise online. So those are all things that traveling school would love to do to help. Our alumni love to support each other. They love to support new traveling school students.
So we mentioned earlier payment plans, and that's exactly what it is. We can divide up your chunk that you're responsible for into 6 or 12-month payment plans. We've got super flexible timelines around that. We offer a personalized plan to pay. You could pay a chunk up front and put some on your credit card. Anyway, we can work with you individually on that. In some states, you can use your 529 plans. We also mentioned in some states, your state or county will help fund. We have semester students on right now that are from Vermont. So that's fresh in my mind that Vermont pays X amount in certain counties because there aren't public high school options. So that can be applied towards this program as well.
Yeah. We also have a gear fleet. So we've been, my husband was in the gear industry for a long time and has connected us to a lot of people. And we've also just done a lot of research and connecting. So we've collected all kinds of gear, whether it be sleeping bags or packs. We have access to getting hiking boots, all sorts of things for students so that we don't have to go out and buy everything. So that's, we have Crazy Creek chairs and clothing items, puppy jackets, all those things. So it depends on where you live, whether or not, and what your activities are, whether or not you have that. So that doesn't have to be a huge expense in addition to tuition. And some of this gear we loan, some of this gear is a donation, and it just depends on what it is. We're always adding to that fleet.
So this is a pretty great photograph of some semester students in the mud bath. And the message being that this may feel insurmountable for some folks. And we really want to help you get to a place of approaching this process from a place of yes, anything is possible, especially if the student is driven to make it happen and has the support of their family behind them. So we want to partner with you and let's create this opportunity together.
In the end, it'll be worth it. So many times. And I tell you, I guess the takeaway for me is that once your student kind of makes this happen for themselves, once your family gets behind this idea, there's nothing that they will not be able to do. They will be able to, we will create a little monster for you, but they will be able to do anything they put their mind to. And that's pretty powerful. And that all happens before you even go on semester. So.
Oh, Jennifer, something that we didn't mention is that a student could fundraise the summer before their semester and when they return home. So that's again, we talk about flexible payment timelines, or parents can float their student a loan if that's in the realm of possible, and the student can pay them back with a commitment to their finance worksheet. But that can happen before and after as well.
Yeah.
So with all of that being said, and we know that that's a lot of information and a lot of being talked at, which is kind of antithetical to what we do in the field. But any questions, please, you're welcome to unmute yourself and ask them. And we're going to keep this slide up with how to reach out to us, but we would love to see an application from your student. So with that being said, are there any questions? Comments or concerns?
I'm putting some links in the chat as well. So the apply now, affordability. And I think just to repeat, but they're there. And
hey, this is Faye. Thank you for that. I think you answered most of the questions I had coming into this. This is more of a tech question. Will those on the recording, can I go back to the chat and see those links, or do I have to copy those links before it turns into?
we can send those links to you. That's not a big deal. I don't know if you'll be able to see them in the recording.
They won't show up in the recording, but we can mail them out through the registration.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, my questions had to do with, how many students received scholarships, what the average amount was, that type of thing. Some of the chronology of it, you answered those questions. I don't know. Layla joined me here at the end. Do you have any questions, Layla?
Hi, Layla. Well, we also can, Layla, we can also connect you. Like, we have a student coming back from Southern Africa December 8th. who goes to Bozeman High.
Yeah, I think
And we have lots of alum in the area, so we can connect you to people too. Because I think it's nice to talk to other students about fundraising, and we'll have some more webinars coming. So we'll put them, if you can't come, we'll be advertising them, and we'll put them. They're also on our website for admissions webinars. There's different aspects of the admissions and the program that we talk about, and we invite alum to come to some of these as well. So
nice.
yeah, do you have any questions for us, Layla?
I think for the most part right now I'm good.
She's been talking with her counselor at the high school, and she's hoping to get her application in by this Friday.
Awesome. Think there's a special swag gift for those that complete their applications by December 1st. So
That's right. That's right. Oh yeah. Good to say that on our recording.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I'm going to stop sharing, and I appreciate y'all coming.